Hey, I'm filming this after, but I wanted to mention in the beginning, if you guys like what you've been watching, if you want, if you want to stick around, I would love that. And I would also love if you guys could please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what the things you kind of want to see. Tell me what you think. And if you're liking what you're thinking, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're kept up to date when new videos come out. I'm hoping to start putting videos out around on, one video a week every Wednesday. So if you like the sound of that, definitely stay tuned. Thank you so much and enjoy the video. All right, welcome guys. What's going on? Today's going to be a quick one. I just kind of wanted to talk more in depth about a topic that I brought up in one of my last videos, and that's what kind of riding do you want to do? And I think it's really important because one, it helps you to figure out, if now would even be a good time to start riding. And then it also helps you narrow down, the style of bike you want. And it's a moment for you to be a little bit more realistic with yourself. So for me personally, I just use my motorcycle as a toy, right? I don't commute on it. I don't go off road clearly on it. And I just like to cruise. And that's honestly my favorite thing. Back roads, twisty roads, long rides. That's what I like to do. No commuting. No, I don't really like doing highway stuff. I just like commuting. Or no, I don't like commuting. I just like cruising. My bad. And it helped me decide what kind of bike I wanted, right? If I there is overlap though. Before I get too ahead of myself, there is overlap between what would make a good commuter bike and what would just make a good, weekend rider. And for me, what went into my decision is I knew at some point I kind of want to do track day stuff. I didn't want to get something too big or too expensive that, in case I didn't end up liking it, that I would be, out a ton of money. And I think the bike I got really does the job well. I'm not looking to go 100 miles an hour, and I'm not looking to really do long distance tours. I like to do longer days, but I'm not, traveling necessarily and staying places or bringing a bunch of stuff with me. It's usually just me and the bike, or I have a backpack. And this bike does it pretty good, especially for a beginner bike. And there's so many things to consider, I guess, right? I mentioned a couple, the size of the bike. For beginners, especially people who've never been on a motorcycle or ridden on something with a manual transmission, it can be kind of are you stopping? Yeah. It can be kind of daunting to, be on this now two-wheeled machine that you've only ridden a bicycle, so that's why a lot of Harleys, even though the power, even if they're soft tails, it's not too crazy, right? But their soft tails aren't too crazy powerful, but they're so heavy that the weight can just be intimidating for a new rider. And it makes sense. You feel like if you're not used to the weight, it can feel obviously heavy, and that can be intimidating. You're concerned about dropping it, and then especially if you're not you don't have to be strong to ride a Harley, but if you at all feel like you're going to tip, it can be a really concerning moment if you feel like you can't support the weight of the bike. And this bike is, I don't know, maybe 300 pounds, 400 pounds, somewhere in there. I don't think if it's over 400 pounds, I don't think it's much over. But our Harleys are north of 600-700 pounds. So feeling like you're gonna fall over on one of those is, even though you're lower to the ground, is more concerning, I would say, or more frightening than feeling like that on one. Oh man, this road used to be so nice, but it just is not well paved anymore. But yeah, being on one of those bikes can really just not be fun if you're not used to the weight, and if you're not like really dead set on the style. Where I don't know why you would get one of those bikes if you weren't dead set on the style. But still, you know, I'm trying to like find the words and hit these bumps or navigate the bumps, but it can be, you know, somewhat frustrating to spend all this money on a bike and not feel like you're really, or just feel like you're afraid of it more so than anything. So yeah, like, make sure whatever you're getting is gonna fit you, you know, fit you both, like literally your body, and fit kind of like your personality and what you're comfortable with. And if it's outside those parameters, don't get the bike, because you're not going to enjoy it. Even if you love the way it looks, if it's, you know, too big or too powerful, you can always get it after you get your first bike. You're not likely to have your first bike for too long, as they say, right? You tend to upgrade fairly quickly. So I wouldn't be too concerned about what your first bike is, but in the sense of, like, if it's not exactly what you want, don't be like too upset about it, because chances are you're still gonna have a ton of fun. Like, this isn't exactly what I want, but I still really enjoy it. At the end of the day, you're on two wheels, and for me at least, anytime I'm on two wheels, I'm having a good time, no matter what it is. Dirt bikes, scooters, cruisers, sport bikes, naked bikes, I'm having a good time. Also, sorry for all the sniffles. It is very cold out. It's the like second week of October, and I'm still trying to get in those couple good weekends of riding. But yeah, you know, just keep that in mind. And there will be a ton of other bikes that will still always be fun. Like, honestly, most naked bikes are your best bet, especially if you're just starting and you're not necessarily into the whole sport bike thing, but you want something to cruise on, and you don't want to pay a lot of money for a cruiser, and you don't like the weight of a cruiser. Try a naked bike, or even like a cafe racer, or something like that, because they make a lot of those styled bikes in beginner friendly packages, right? Like lower horsepower, lower cc's, lighter weight, so it's friendly and approachable for new riders. And that's exactly what this R3 is. It's you know, it's very friendly and approachable. It's, you know, I can feel that it's slow, but like everybody says, it's better to ride, or it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow, right? Because when you're riding a slow bike fast, you're really using all of the potential that it has, right? Rather than just doing a soft jog on a super powerful bike. But yeah, so just get something, you know, in your budget, and that you like, and just have fun with it. And if you hate it, guess what? I bet you there's somebody that will love it, and you can sell it to them, and then buy something else. That's the beautiful thing. There's a pretty high turnover rate for motorcycles, you know, unless it's something that you really, really wanted, or it's like an heirloom kind of bike, which most beginner bikes aren't. But chances are, if you buy a quality beginner bike, you'll be able to sell it pretty quickly, and for maybe just about as much as you spent on it, you know. So that would be my suggestion, right? I just wanted to touch on a little bit more about the style of riding, because it will, like, if you want to do a ton of off-road, right, maybe like an adventure bike isn't for you. But if you want to do a lot of highway driving or road driving to get to some light trails, maybe an adventure bike is the way. If you want to do more off-road than on-road, grab a dual sport. A dual sport will be so much better off-road than a adventure bike, in my opinion, because it's not as heavy as an adventure bike. And I guess a lot of the things that I'm talking about come down to weight, and because weight, in my opinion, can be one of the more intimidating things on, you know, throughout all bikes, right? You know, like, obviously power and performance, it can be intimidating to someone new, but that's only with like one specific style of bike. Whereas weight can really be, you can get any bike that's heavy, and it's usually cruisers, but still, that's the one thing I wanted you guys to consider. Really think about what style of riding you're gonna do, and try and tailor your bike to that style of riding. You know, like if you wanna do tons of miles, maybe get something that's super comfortable to sit on, and maybe has some storage, so you don't have to wear a backpack. You know, or get storage. If you want to, like I said, if you want to do off-road, check out ADVs or Dual Sports and see, okay, I'm going to do more off-road than on-road, and make your choice. Or, you know, I'm going to do more on-road and some light off-road, and then make your choice. So that is what I would say. Yeah, like if you want to go fast, if you enjoy the sport bike look and the sport bike style, get a sport bike. If you don't like all the fairings, because they definitely are a pain in the neck to take off if you got to do anything, check out, you know, naked bikes or standards, however you want to call them, because they're essentially like as far as I'm aware, most in a lot of the brands that have fully faired bikes and naked bikes, the naked bikes are usually a direct, like, not like spin-off, but they're based on the super sports or the sport bikes. Like Yamaha has the R3, which is this one, the sport bike, and then the MT-03, the R7 and the MT-07, same bike. R1, MT-10, pretty much almost the same bike. Like it has, I guess, like the R is the father idea or the parent idea to the MT line of bikes, right? They're geared differently. They're geared for more cruising or city riding, because on the fully faired sport bikes you're really chasing, you know, speed and lap times and trying to get in that tucked position. And then naked bikes have more, I would say, usable power, and a lot of brands do this, right? A lot of brands base their naked bikes off of their sport bikes and just mildly tweak the where it makes its power, so that it's more usable for the street. And that's something to take a look at. And I think whatever bike you get will really honestly dictate what kind of riding you do. And there's a really good chance that you'll also make a mistake on which first bike you get. Because if you don't know, like, if you think you want to do one style of riding versus another, and then you find out the hard way that, like, oh no, like, I actually want to, you know, I don't want to go on the track. I actually just like to cruise, you know? That's why I also say don't get something so expensive for your first bike and put all your eggs in one basket. Because if you change your mind, the beautiful thing is you can just sell it and you're not out like too deep in a hole about it. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about. And so I'm glad you guys stuck along, listen to the video, listen to me yip yap. But before we get going, all I want to ask is if you guys could please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a bunch, and I would love it if we could get to 1,000. Yeah, I would love that. But for right now, I want to focus on maybe just 100 subscribers. That'd be pretty sick. That would make me really happy. Until next time, ride safe.